Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahid Yusuf with another lecture of the poem that is The Tale of Custard, the Dragon. In the previous lecture, we discussed the writer, we discussed his life and his career. And in this lecture, I'll try to start the poem. But before starting the poem, we shall discuss some important points about the poetic style of Eugen Nash. Poetic style of Eugen Nash. See, the poetry of Eugen Nash is wonderfully unique because Nash's poems contain a certain element that separate them from normal poetry. He is a different kind of poet. He's a different kind of poet, and he's very much different from other poets, from normal poets. And as far as his poetry is concerned, we'll try to find out some elements of his poetry. We'll try to find out some devices, find out some elements which we find in his poetry, and those elements make his poetry different. Those elements separate his poetry from that of the normal poetry. We already discussed that this poet Eugen Nash, he was famous for light verse. He was famous for unconventional rhyme scheme, and he was famous for his humor as well. So this, as far as this light verse is concerned, I have in detail I have discussed what this light verse is. So he was famous for wordplay, use of wordplay in his poetry, that is pun, rhyme, alliteration, other devices also. And other poets who were famous for this light verse, they are Dorothy Parker, Edward Lear, Lewis Carroll, and that is how they are known for this nonsense poetry. And with Eugen Nash, they all belong to this group. And we'll try to find out the elements which make this Nash's poetry different from the normal poetry. See, as far as Nash's poetry is concerned, Nash's poetry is we find a lot of humor. We find a lot of humor in his poetry, and there are these different rhyme schemes in his poetry. His titles are different. For example, there is a poem. There is a poem which is titled as "Reflections on Ice Breaking." Reflections on ice breaking. And do you know what the poem is? It is actually this: Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. So only four lines in the poem. Only four lines. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. So we have some seven words in the poem. Seven words by one first line, second line, third line, and fourth line. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. So the title is Reflections on Ice Breaking. So four-liner title or three-liner title, and seven-liner poem. So this is how his titles were different. His titles were very clever. And he has written this whimsical poetry. He has written whimsical poetry, that is we find a lot of things in his poetry. For example, after reading a poem by Eugen Nash, you may say to yourself, what was the point to that poem? Why did I read that? Why did I read that poem? Well, we should not bother thinking too hard, because there probably wasn't anything in the poem beyond making us laugh. So sometimes he has written such a poem, sometimes he has written such a poetry that only and only makes us laugh. There is nothing else in that poem, and that poem makes us laugh only. And such a poem is, if you want to read that, you will drink your orange juice and like it comrade. It is the poem where we only find laughter, we only find things for laughter and nothing else. And he's also known for his obscure vocabulary. That is, we often need a dictionary when we read his poems. There are these different words whose meanings we don't know. That is what he has included obscure names and words in his poetry. And finally, his poetry is also different from the normal poetry because of these misspellings and crafted words. So he in a way, he tried to give his poetry, he tried to give his poetry effect, and that is how he used these misspellings. So he changed the spellings of the words and used them. He changed the pronunciations of the words and used them. He even invented his own words, crafted his own words, and used them also, so that there would be a rhyme scheme, so that there would be a musical effect in his poetry. So that is the differences we find in his poetry. So I will again repeat these things. So his poetry is humorous. We have different rhyme schemes in his poetry, and he has given the different titles to his poetry, and he has written some short poems, very short poems also. His poetry is whimsical, and he has used this obscure language, and he has used misspellings, mispronunciations, and he has crafted his own words to give effect to his poetry. So that is how his poetry is different from the normal poetry. See, uh, he's a versifier actually, who invented and misspelled and mispronounced words to create unexpected rhymes. So that is why he is known for this crafting of words. Why he is known for this non-unconventional rhyme schemas. So that is how he created rhyme schemas. He created words. He invented words. He created misspellings. He managed the mispronunciations of words. That is how he is quite different from the normal poets. Now coming to the poem itself. See, this is the title of the poem we are going to read. And the title is The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Custard the Dragon. So we have certain characters in the poem, and tale means a story. So it is a tale. It is a tale of Custard, who is a dragon. So it is a tale of the dragon whose name is Custard. Simply, it is the tale, it is the story of the dragon whose name is Custard. Whose name is Custard. And the tale of Custard the dragon, it is a ballad. It is a ballad. Ballad is a form of poetry, or we can simply say it is a poem or song which narrates a story. So here it is a poem which narrates a story. So a poem in which there is a story, that is what ballad is called. That is what ballad is called. And we have some two or three types of ballads. For example, traditional ballad, broadside ballad, literary ballad. And as far as ballads are concerned, ballads are poems or songs narrating a story. And here, if we try to find out what is important about ballad. See, we have third person narration in ballads. That is, the characters in ballads, nobody from the characters tell us the story, narrate the story to us. Some other person, we can call that impersonal. We have impersonal speaker, we have impersonal narrator in ballads. And in ballads, we find refrain as well. So simple, it is a story of the dragon whose name is Custard, and it is a ballad. And a ballad is a poem narrating a story. So simply, here it is already written tale. So in either way, whether it is a tale, whether it is a ballad, so it is simply a story of the dragon whose name is Custard. Whose name is Custard. So simply, the title itself says that it is going to be a ballad. It is going to be a ballad. See, as far as the poem is concerned, I will give you a gist of the poem first, then we'll come to the text of the poem. See, this is a poem about about Custard. Uh, Custard is actually the dragon in the poem. It is a humorous poem about a cowardly dragon named Custard. So he's always told that he's covered. He is covered. And Custard is a pet of Belinda. Custard is a pet of Belinda. Belinda is another character in this story. See, we have some three or four characters in the story. So we have Dragon. Dragon's name is Custard, and Custard is a cowardly. He is known as Cowardly Dragon. He is known as Cowardly Dragon, who is very timid, who is very shy, and he is pet of Belinda. He is pet of Belinda, and Belinda is a little girl who lives in a little white house with her pets. So there is this girl, Belinda. There is this girl, Belinda, and he has her pets. He has her pets, and one among the pets is Custard the dragon. One among the pets is Custard the dragon, and she has another pets, that is, she has a black kitten and his name is Ink. See, she has a Custard, his name, she has a dragon, his name is Custard. She has a black kitten, his name is Ink. She has a gray mouse, his name is Blink. His name is Blink. She has a yellow dog, his name is Mustard. His name is Mustard. So she has four pets. She has four pets. She has black kitten, she has gray mouse, she has yellow dog, and she has dragon, cowardly dragon. So cowardly dragon is known as Custard. This black kitten is known as Ink, gray mouse is known as Blink, and yellow dog is known as Mustard. Remember it. The poet says that all of them are very brave except except the dragon. Except the dragon. So Ink is brave. Ink is the name of black kitten. Blink is brave. Black sorry Ink is brave. Ink is the name of black kitten. And Blink is brave. Blink is the name of gray mouse. Mustard is brave. Mustard is the name of yellow dog. But the poet says the Custard is not brave. He's timid. He's timid. The poet says that all of them are very brave except the dragon. The dragon is Custard. Custard is the dragon. So Ink is brave. Blink is brave. This Mustard is brave. Belinda herself is brave, except this Custard, that is dragon. Except the dragon, he is timid. He is very cowardly. Others were described as brave and are compared with animals like bear. So they are compared with animals like bear. They are compared with animals like tiger. They are compared with animals like lion. But the dragon is very timid. He is not compared with anybody. He is known for his timidness, and he is known as a coward. He always demands a safe place for himself. He always demands a safe cage for himself. Others always brag that they can do all these things. They can chase lions, they can chase bears. All the other characters make fun of him. But one night, what happened? There is a twist in this story. There's a twist in this story that what happens when all these they would brag, they would they would say enough they would say enough things about themselves. They would do one thing. They would tell the Custard that you are a very covered, you are a timid this animal, and we can do these things. We can I can chase one character says I can chase bears. Another character says that I can fight tigers, etc. But one day what happens? One night they are surprised by the entry of a pirate in the house, and in actuality, in reality, one day they are attacked by a pirate. They are attacked by a pirate. When they are attacked by the pirate, all of them get frightened and start hiding here and there. So all these who were calling themselves by great names, the little girl, Ink, that is the black kitten, gray mouse, the yellow dog, all of them get frightened and they start hiding here and there. But to everyone's surprise, the dragon not only tackles but also eats him up. So the dragon, he didn't hide anywhere. He tackled the situation and he eats him up. He eats that this pirate. He eats that pirate. And as all of them are saved by him, all of them are saved by this dragon, by Custard, they thanked him. But at the end they realized that they used to make fun of the dragon because of his being timid. So all of them suddenly start saying that they are more brave and could have handled the situation in much better way. Still, even though their life is saved by this dragon saved their life, they got frightened and they start hiding here and there. But still, when that pirate was gobbled, when that pirate was eaten by this dragon, they still say that we would have handled the situation in much better way. Here the poet has tried to say that sometimes a timid person is the actual hero in the toughest situations of life. So we will see what the message of the poem is at the last. But here, this is the summary of the poem, or we can simply say this is the gist of the poem which we are going to read. See, in this poem, there is a deeper meaning also. We find a deeper meaning in this poem also. And it talks about a message also. And this poem, as far as this poem is concerned, it is a ballad. It is written by Eugen Nash. That is very important. And Eugen Nash's poetries are filled with literary devices, poetic devices. And in this poem also, we find a lot of literary devices. We find a lot of literary devices. For example, we'll find a repetition here. We will find a refrain. Yes, we'll find a refrain has been used in the poem. Oxymoron oxymoron has been used in the poem. Anaphora, the device of anaphora has been used in the poem. And this simile, the device of simile has been used in the poem. And alliteration, the device of alliteration has been used in the poem. And imagery, the device of imagery has been used in the poem. And metaphors, so these things, they are found in abundance in this poem. They are found in abundance. And we'll also see the crafted words. So in this poem we may find humor. We find some crafted words created by the poet Orgenesh. For example, such words, one at one place of time, there are this word rulio trulio. They are nowhere words, but they are crafted words by this Origin Nash, as far as this poem is concerned. So all these things we find in this poem, that is the tale of Custard the dragon. So alliteration, we find a lot of alliteration. We find a lot of similes. We find a lot of images used in the poem. And as far as refrain is concerned, we find that refrain also in this poem. We find this anaphora also in this poem. We find a personification also in this poem. So this poem is ornamental. This There are so many ornaments in this poem, that literary figures, the literary devices, poetic devices, a lot of them we find in this poem. So I think it is enough for today. In the next lecture, I'll start the poem, and once we complete the poem, we will discuss all the literary devices of the poem. We'll also discuss the theme and the message of the poem we get from this poem. So I hope you would have understood it. And with this, I bid you Allah Hafiz. Have a nice day.